Capricorn, and welcome to your weekly tarot forecast for the week of April 13th. How are all of you doing, guys? Ooh, it has been raining here nonstop, and I love the rain, but even I'm kind of like, I can use some sun, some kind of uplifting energy. Now, I know the energies have definitely gone a little bit more tense, and you guys might have seen this if anybody does any online research or looking at some things that are being banned or changed, you might notice this. And if not, don't even worry about it. Focus on yourself. But this upcoming week, guys, I think it's very, very important to get very clear with yourself. Do your best not to muddle your energies with things outside, whether it's opinions or viewpoints. Do your best to stay as centered as possible. Now, this is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, so please be sure to check all three. And if this is your first time watching, I hope this serves you. And if it does and it helps in any way, please like, subscribe, comment down below, guys. I really appreciate it. It really does help. All right, my beautiful caps, let's just take a deep breath in. Just release all of that, any kind of stagnant energy. Let's stay motivated. Let's stay creative before moving. All right, let's get started. Let me guide into the energy of Capricorn for the week of April 13th. All right, caps. Starting out with the Emperor. I love it. The Epiphany card. 2 of Swords. The Empress. 2 of Cups. 5 of Swords. Page of Cups. 7 of Cups. Wow, caps. I like this because this week is asking for you to kind of take control this week. And I don't mean control like controlling people. It's more of like your life, like your thoughts, what you're doing. You guys have had a lot of, when you have the Epiphany card, there's been lessons that have been processed. You probably like long enough. When you have the Emperor, it's about getting efficient, getting structure. You have these ideas and you want to move forward with it. But let me just say with the Epiphany card, it's not just like any ideas, like let's reorganize the pantry. No, this has to do with who you are, how you want to show up, the lessons you've learned, and now you're embodying them and you're putting them into something. Lessons can be ideas, they can be belief systems. And when we have that, when things like that change, it obviously changes everything else, right? Kind of like if you ate meat one day, now you no longer eat meat. It's going to change a lot of things, not just your diet, where you go, how you buy. You don't understand, it affects a lot of different things. And for you Capricorns, you're seeing that this week and you are moving yourself forward with these new ideas, with these epiphanies that kind of hit like, you know what? I am going to go for it. I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to procrastinate, or I recognize that I always have this pattern. I don't want it, so now I'm doing this. So now you're putting these lessons or these ideas or these kind of light bulb moments into action. You have the 2 of Swords, so of course there's, and with the Empress. For a lot of you Capricorns, you're actually being very creative. You're bringing things forth. So this is not just a reorganizing of the old. You're doing brand new shit. So pardon my French, but this is you creating that website. This is you building out that part of the house. This is you starting that business, or you learning that new thing. With the Empress, it's not so much about doing something outside of you. Everything's coming inside of you. The ideas, the vision for it, the layout, the theme, the energy. She's amazing. And don't look at gender here, but the Empress uses her own energy, her own ideas, her own money into creating stuff. The Empress is symbolic of birth, right? So when a woman gives birth, right, everything's happening inside of her. She doesn't like, I need an umbilical cord and put it inside. It's created within and boom, right out. And this is what's happening. You are making a whole new life. You're changing the tones. You could be changing the tones in your family, in the household, in the relationships you have. Maybe some of you Capricorns are homeschooling your kids now. And so you're like, you know what? I'm going to put my kids on a schedule. I'm going to put myself on a schedule. When you have the Emperor, you're very efficient. You're very stable. So you're getting shit ordered up. You're like, no, it's going to 8 a.m. this, 10 a.m. that. We're doing it like this. We're trying this out. We're having dinner on the table, not just sitting in front of the TV. Do you know what I'm saying? You guys are taking control of your household, of your energy, of your life. You're making it kind of permeating it with this new energy and vision, and that you want through these epiphanies you've been having, and you're creating something new, not just within your family, within yourself, within your life. And let me tell you, Caps, when you do that, everything around you will change in an incredible way. It must line up with how you're seeing things, with how you're viewing things, because everything's energy and vibration, and you attract what is like unto you. You have the Two of Cups. So this is also about your relationship. A lot of the changes you're making too are really emotional in nature, but in a positive way. Don't think of emotional as like, ugh, crying. It's deepening relationships. When you have the Two of Cups, this is about relationships getting deeper. This can be with your friends, your family, your romantic partnerships. This can even be positive reconciliations, which is great, right? Because when we have those epiphanies and we recognize patterns that might have been blocking us or stifling us from growing or moving forward or healing, this is what it does. So we can have positive conflict resolution, or could just deepen the bonds we have with those around us. You have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is you recognize there was a lot of negativity, especially mentally. But the Five of Swords is about just a really, when we kind of cry over things that don't work out, or there's a lot of people that are negative around us, or just toxic. That can be our toxic mental space. That can actually be our physical space. That can be our work space. But recognizing that certain situations energetically don't serve you, especially mentally. Thinking that way, cycling that same thought. You might have a belief, and all of a sudden you're like, what has that belief ever done? And is there any truth to it? I keep thinking, the shoe's gonna drop, but did it ever? Or did things always just get better? Was I always saved? Wasn't there always enough? Wasn't I always supported? So there's negative attributes or toxic ways of thinking, or even people around that you're like, no, not about it, not gonna do it anymore. And you're releasing your attachment to that belief, that way of thinking. Page of Cups, you guys are really, as you switch, you attract new people too, right? So you guys are releasing toxicity within and without. You're attracting in new people. The Page of Cups it tends to be a friend. Yes, can it be a romantic partner at some point? But the Page of Cups is someone who comes in. It's a soulmate card who's emotionally in tune with you, who supports you. Long story short, you're changing up the game because the internal game changed. You're changing up the external game. What's toxic is leaving, and what's blessed is coming in. That includes in people. Seven of Cups. Just understand that as you're doing this, be very clear with yourself, Capricorn. What do I want? What do I need? Make those decisions, because sometimes it's really, I can see there might be some resistance emotionally to holding on to either an idea or a person. Because with the Seven of Cups, you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision, because staying in that limbo is making you toxic. So for instance, some Capricorns, maybe I'm going to use relationships because they're the easiest. Maybe you're in a relationship and it's not very well. And that's what gave you this epiphany, right? Like, screw that. I'm not going to be held back. I'm going to do this. And this relationship, by the way, can be with a mother, a father, a romantic partner. It doesn't matter. And you're like, you know what? And honestly, the toxicity is what caused you to say no and make all these changes. But at the end of the day, if you're going to make these changes, you're going to have to make a decision like, okay, that means this also has to go or change. For instance, if it's like a parent, that you're not changing up your parents, but you can say, you know what, the dynamic, that's just got to change, or we need space, not just social distancing, but like emotional space. But you also need to detox yourself emotionally. Just make sure you do nice cleanse, good cry, journal, even cord cut. My link is down below. This is an incredible week, Capricorn, because you're solidifying this new self. You're transforming, and you're putting it into action, which is wonderful. That's the ultimate manifestation. And you're deciding, no, okay, I recognize this thought, I'm not going to have it. I recognize I'm procrastinating again, not going to do it. I'm recognizing this old pattern in my family, cutting it. This is beautiful, creating new foundations and solidifying these new, healthier belief systems, and really recognizing the toxicity in the mind and learning to circumvent it, because those are just well-treaded neural pathways. You're making new ones. Caps, I'm super proud of you guys. You got this. I hope this serves you. If you guys would like a distance healing session, a soul reading, or a more in-depth tarot session, or any of my workshops, the links are down below. Otherwise, guys, I will see you next week for next week's readings.